I eat 3 tons of rocks every day. It's not that I like to eat, but as long as I don't eat it, I will be eaten as food by the piranha on the side. Although these souls look cute, but they're actually pretty vicious monsters. But even so, I still choose to be with them because I need a lot of money. If you can't make enough money, the orphanage where I grew up will be demolished by the government. So I worked 10 jobs a day, but with my meager monthly income. You can't feed an orphanage after 100 years of work. So I went online and looked up how to get rich overnight. I clicked on a random video about revealing the income of the awakened. I saw that the man being interviewed in the video was very arrogant. That's 30 million a day, and according to this guy, the awakened make a lot of money. Just 7 years ago, a giant tower suddenly appeared in this world. That tower will randomly select humans and put them in the tower. However, in the end, 1 in 10 million will come back alive, and those who return will not reveal any information about the tower. In this way, we call those who return the awakened. They have magic within them, can greatly promote the development of modern civilization, so they get competed for by various corporate units. I watched the video in front of me with envy in my heart, and just as I was doing this, I was getting all these strange letters on my phone. At first, I thought it was because I often browse color websites and got hacked. My first reaction was to delete those videos, but I didn't want to, but I clicked wrong. I was so scared that I quickly pressed the shutdown button. Then a familiar figure in the phone caught my attention. He looks and sounds exactly like me. I saw him constantly fighting in the tower. Eventually became the first man to reach the top of the tower. Is this a video of my future Raiders tower? If it is true, with this guide, can I also become an awakened? So the next day I went to the gym next door and got a membership card. From the video I learned that the portal will open in 2 months, so I have to be stronger than in the video. I also quit my job, memorized these videos at home every day. The day has come to finally open the portal. I knelt in front of my phone and begged the gods to bless me. Bless the content on the video is true, but after waiting for a while, there was no movement. When I started to wonder if these videos were fake, a freezing cold wind blows behind me. Turn around, I saw a huge portal appear in front of me. I didn't hesitate, walked straight to the portal. The moment I stepped into the portal, a difficulty panel appeared in front of me. The interface in front of me made my hands tremble, but in the end I chose the hard mode, then I slowly lost consciousness. Moments later, I woke up in an unfamiliar environment. I looked around, it's the cave you saw in the video earlier. At this time, a task panel appeared in front of him. I rummaged through my trouser pockets. I found that the phone with the strategy is missing. It seems that I have to rely on my own memory to pass the level. The audience should be here by now. I want to talk to as many people as I can in the first hour. Get a gold reward from them. The so-called audience is the other awakened beings who exist in the tower. They can get it from the live stream list. Find someone lower than their tower level to tip. The person they reward every time they reach a certain level. The tipster can also get some rewards. This is the first viewer to come to my live stream. I hurriedly bowed to my big brother. Saw my performance. Big brother also gave me a reward of 3 gold coins and gave me some attention after the audience pays attention to the live streaming host. Can't follow anyone else unless the live streaming host dies. And live streaming hosts get a certain amount of attention every time. Can get a special reward. The preparation time will soon be over. I got up to 12 points and ready to face my opponent. I saw 3 small portals appear in front of me. When I saw the 3 portals, I froze. This is completely different from the scene in the video. Immediately, 3 cute kings of Sol Luo appeared in front of me. But when I saw the scene, I even wanted to die. They are monsters that only appear above the 10th floor. In combat, the hairs curl up and they're invulnerable. In an instant, a large number of viewers left the live stream because they thought I was going to be eaten to the bone. But I thought about their habits. They're not first movers. So I carefully observed the soul in front of me. I find that they are always on guard against me, and I want them to be close to me. I chose to do what seemed like a crazy thing. I started to imitate the movements of Poirot, trying to fit in. Suddenly, my live stream comments fell at their behest. I know the magic stone in front of me is Poirot's favorite food. This stone is necessary for the manufacture of magical equipment. Before eating these things, they all perform a special ritual. I don't know why. I seem to be able to read their hearts. They looked happy. Suddenly, the poet stopped, then opened the mouth of the abyss. He began to eat the magic stone in front of him, and I want to fit in. He also grabbed the stone and ate it in large mouthfuls. Soon the mountain of philosopher's stones was cleared away. Just then, my body suddenly lit up like a magic stone. The trolls also started to revolve around me. Just when I thought they were going to eat me, they jumped on me and pasted me. At this moment, a pop-up window with successful clearings appeared in front of me. I didn't think I'd make it through the game alive. And also subdued 3 Soul Luo Cute Kings. And there was a lot of tipping from the audience. The portal on the second floor appeared in front of me. The customs clearance reward was also sent to my backpack. I opened the reward with anticipation. These 3 rewards are different from what I saw in the video. I picked up a rock to make sure what it was. When they saw it, they rushed towards me. It seems that this inconspicuous thing is actually a magic stone, and I stopped them and promised to find them a better one next time. The second reward is the currently useless name change card. The third is a gold coin that everyone has. I went through all the rewards. Then he walked to the second layer of the teleportation array. But at this moment, Poro seemed to have noticed something. He turned and ran. Then they opened their bloody mouths, start digging holes into the surrounding walls. With the continuous call of the soul inside, I also crawled towards the hole. Gradually, my body started to shine again. From the video, I knew it was the power of a knight. On the 5th floor of the tower, every player can change classes. This strength is also an indispensable part of the career change. Soon I climbed out of the hole, saw the pools spinning around a necklace. I picked up the necklace and checked it again. I found that wearing this necklace can save me from death once. And at the urging of the audience, I put it around my neck. Then, he led the souls into the portal of the second floor. The scene on the second level is a huge dojo. And this time the task is to survive for half an hour. Right after the lead time, a mountain-like portal appeared before my eyes. Then a huge foot came out from inside. I actually encountered an armored dragon turtle on the second floor. I'm facing an impossible dragon turtle in armor. Didn't choose to run away. Instead, he took out his weapon and wanted to be tough with it. Because I learned it in the customs clearance video. As long as the task can be exceeded, you can get a hidden reward. In order to hide the reward, I have to defeat it. The armored dragon turtle was instantly angry when he saw my actions, and I rushed towards the dragon tortoise with the souls. When the dragon turtle saw the scene, it also kicked over, just as the solace of his feet hit the ground. The entire training ground trembled violently as the smoke clears. My body appeared on the dragon turtle's ankle. I wanted to jump on the back of the dragon turtle. Unfortunately, it didn't work this time. The dragon turtle glanced at my position and took a deep breath. It seems he was irritated by me. I saw the dragon turtle open its bloody mouth. It's like a turtle wave qigong to me. So I pulled out my axe and dodged the attack. As soon as I landed, I noticed that this dragon tortoise was very slow at this moment. I am 50% sure that I will defeat him. The tortoise saw that his attack had no effect, suddenly fell into a rage. I had the advantage of speed, rushed towards his hind legs. When I reached his hind legs, I did my best to chop it up. The dragon tortoise that received this blow let out a scream. Then he released Tarzan, trying to crush me. But this was within my expectations, so I managed to avoid this attack. The dragon tortoise found that the blow failed again. He immediately retracted his head and limbs into the turtle shell. Then a green light came out of him. This is a self-healing ability that causes headaches for all players. It is also the scariest place for dragon turtles. And I looked at the dragon turtle in front of me who lost the ability to move, jump and climb onto his back. I was able to climb up thanks to him putting his claws away. Most people would feel safest standing on the back of a dragon turtle. It's not, because his backstab will explode whenever it comes into contact with magic. The explosion is powerful enough to blow a person to pieces. The reason why I came up, just to find out the most vulnerable part of him. And this is when I noticed a tiny backstab. With brute force, I swung the axe towards the backstab. But even this tiny backstab defense is amazing. Unsuccessful once, then I'll do it again. This time I finally cut off the spike on the back of the dragon turtle. The audience in the live stream is also curious. What's the point of my nonsense? At this time, the dragon turtle has also fully recovered. After he gave me an angry look, he rushed towards the wall next to him. I want to rely on the inertia after the collision to throw me away. So I cut the spike right into the tortoise's back. Then pour magic power into the battle axe. A backstab is a blow. In an instant, the tortoise's back was pierced by a backstab, and he let out a growl of pain. Then a terrifying explosion covered the entire training ground. There was dust all around as the smoke clears. I also dragged a broken body out of the dust. Looking at the unconscious dragon turtle in front of me, I am also relieved. Although the process is very dangerous, but it worked. But I also lost my combat effectiveness in the explosion. Suddenly, I noticed that the dragon turtle's head trembled. I immediately clenched the battle axe in my hand, cut off the head of the dragon turtle. Then a window jumped out in front of my eyes to successfully clear the level. Then the hidden reward window also popped up. The pirates happily immediately fell to the ground. It looks like they want to eat the dragon turtle, because the back shell of the dragon turtle is a natural magic block. With my consent, they immediately rushed towards the dragon turtle, began to eat the tortoise's body at the same time. The audience in the live stream also began to question my behavior, similar to hanging up. I don't think they'll believe me no matter what I say, so just be shameless. In fact, I played against him because I felt that I could defeat him, and then I'm ready to see my reward in the midst of their abuse. At this time, a pop-up window of 100 people's attention reward appeared. I chose to accept without hesitation. Suddenly, 3 more rewards appeared in front of my eyes. In addition to the gold reward, there is also a storage backpack that can be carried around. It seems that my luck is still good, but the most valuable magic stone. But I was hidden from the eyes of the audience, and right after that, I opened the hidden reward window. Suddenly, a strange stone appeared in my hand. According to the introduction, this is a powerful fossil used to strengthen equipment. I quickly put it in my space backpack, then continued to confirm the next reward. And right at that moment, I saw an interface for selecting properties. I decisively chose the magic blessing. In an instant, my live stream bullet comment fell. They all think I'm on 5 welfare cards. I chose the most rubbish one. However, what they don't know is, I am preparing to change my profession to the most mysterious Taoist scholar among many professions. In the eyes of most people, Demon Tao scholars are a profession without any combat effectiveness. But in my eyes, it's different. I clearly remember what I looked like in the customs clearance video. You can shoot a powerful laser with just 1 hit. Of course, men should choose lasers. At this time, the full souls also ran towards me. The originally mighty armored dragon turtle also instantly turned into a green turtle. After processing, I dragged my tired body, walked into the portal to the next level. I went to the next level and miraculously healed. And a pop-up window popped up. The mission this time is to defeat the guardian of this level, and can't escape the edge of the church, and I was lost in thought, because the tasks in this layer are exactly the same as what I saw in the video. Just then, a portal suddenly appeared behind me. However, what I didn't expect was, a person actually walked out of the portal. I saw that person right away in an instant. Is it because this trial requires cooperation with others? So it will be the same difficulty as in the video. But look at his ragged appearance. I must have suffered a lot in the second layer. I reached out my hand to say hello, but he suddenly hugged my hand and started crying. I quickly pushed him away. After he adjusts his mood, he told me his name was Ma Fai Fai. Then he suddenly discovered the cute king on my head. Then he asked me if the one on my head was a soul. Looks like your audience told you that. Yes, the live stream is fried. They are all asking why there is a Pora here. I don't know what happened. They were very close to me on the first floor. I can only fool like this. After all, I can't tell my dark history. Can I? No, wait. The whole church trembled violently. Then the tall statues of knights emerged from the ground. At the same time, the preparation time is also cleared at this moment. The challenge has officially begun. I draw my weapon and get ready for battle. I once learned the mechanism of these 2 statues from the customs clearance video. In hard mode, if you don't get rid of the 2 statues in one go, the one who falls first will be reborn. So many passersby died in this layer. Then these 2 stone statues galloped towards us. They raised their weapons and slashed down with one sword. The moment it hits the ground, this piece of land collapsed in an instant. Ma Faifei's whole person was shocked by the aftermath of the explosion, but I dodged with my nimble movement. But the next second, the statue raised a shield and smashed it at me. There was a loud explosion. I disappeared into the grounds of the church. After the statue stands up, only then did he realize that his attack had failed, and I suddenly appeared behind them. I took a huge leap. He used all his strength to hit the leg of the statue. The statue lost its support and fell. But what I didn't expect was, the statue, which was intact, actually grabbed the statue that was about to fall to the ground. I looked at the rapidly recovering statue in front of me. I can only use all my strength to rush towards them, and then the axe goes up, and there's a big chop. Soon the 2 statues fell to the ground and lost their life. And Ma Fai Fai is a complete foil in this process. Just when I thought the statue was dead, a strong murderous aura came from behind me. The next moment, a red light flashed in the eyes of the cold statue. When I realized something was wrong, I quickly asked Ma Fai Fai to dodge. However, what I didn't expect was, the statue threw a gun and sneaked towards Ma Fai Fai. Seeing as that shot was about to stab him, I sped up and pushed him to the ground. In an instant, a huge explosion was heard throughout the entire church. After the explosion, I looked around. The statue that was originally chopped off has been restored to its original state. Then a blinding red light lit up in their eyes. It turns out that when they fall, it doesn't mean the end. I didn't expect such a difficult statue to have 2 stages. They looked at my posture and were ready to fight. It seems that I have to rely on myself for the second stage, and I rushed up to them. With a sudden leap, they jumped onto the shields in their hands. I stared at the statue. It's a jumping chop to to his head, he didn't react to the sudden attack. So he was cut into by me with an axe. Just then, another statue reaches out and grabs me. I slid down the body of the statue to avoid the blow. But what I can dodge while sliding is pretty limited. Then the statue launched another attack. At the same time, I also noticed that the broken statues on the side were being reborn. So I must before he is completely reborn. Just destroy the statue in front of you, I dodged the blow by virtue of my agility. And then he wields his axe, hit the arm of the statue hard. Cracks appeared in his arm under the blow. Then he lost his balance. The whole person also fell backwards. I was at the moment when he couldn't move. Strike quickly and chop him to pieces with the last tremor of the statue. The blood in his eyes gradually dimmed. Suddenly, a window through the trial appeared in front of me. And my performance was also rewarded by the audience in the live stream. According to the video guide I have watched, obviously, as long as the Guardian's eyes are broken, you can pass the level. But I didn't expect that this time I had to destroy the statue to complete the trial. Anyway, this trial was passed smoothly, but I looked around and didn't see any portals. So I went deep into the church, then Ma Five I stopped me. Want to communicate with me in depth? Now, that startled me. He made a bye-bye gesture and ran. Ma Five I was embarrassed and wanted to find a crack in the ground to get in. And there I was in the middle of the church. I saw a sheepskin book on a stone table in the center. I opened it with curiosity. This book tells the story of the tyrannical life of Emperor Zuan. He executed all the heroes who had taken the country for him and sent his men to slaughter the people of the entire empire. And I was not interested. However, the audience in the live stream told me, this is the tip for layer 5. Just then, the portal to the 4th floor suddenly appeared beside me. At the same time, a reward pop-up window also popped up in front of my eyes. After clicking confirm, a beautiful gift box fell out. The customs clearance reward this time was only a bag of gold coins. Generally speaking, at least 3 rewards will be given in difficult mode. But when I opened the coin bag, my whole body froze. There are actually 5,000 gold coins in it. I think there is only 1 reward, and I am quite worried, but I didn't expect so many. After happily collecting the reward, I walked towards the portal. Suddenly, the live stream is saying that the situation of Puro is a little wrong. Sure enough, they're all looking listless, and I had a panic attack. I quickly asked the audience in the live stream what happened. They all said it might be because they were too hungry, but they obviously ate so many turtle shells on the 2nd floor. But I still took out a magic stone, see if they're hungry, but they don't seem to be very interested. It seems they are sick. And that's when the audience reminded me, when you reach the 5th floor, you can heal Poirot. Hearing this news, I quickly picked up the souls. He entered the portal on the next floor, but I didn't expect that the 4th floor didn't even have time to rest. This layer is the decryption level. If the decryption cannot be successful within the specified time, then you will be trapped in this place, so I let go of Poirot. He walked towards the wall with words engraved on the side. I have seen such text in the customs clearance video. At the same time, I noticed that there are a total of 100 crystals on this wall. I need to use the hidden words in the crystal to find the pattern. Connect crystals of the same color together, and the color of the crystal changes every time you touch it. The condition for customs clearance is to unify the color of all crystals, and I can't help but remember that I was tortured by this. I almost blew my head off reciting these words. Eventually, I found some patterns, so this one didn't bother me. Soon I will light up all the crystals on the wall under my fierce operation. I successfully passed this level. The portal also appeared at this moment. The live stream suddenly fried. They all regarded me as a highly intelligent genius. I also clicked on the reward at their urging. Unexpectedly, there is only 1 reward for this level. Open it, and it's still 5,000 gold coins. After putting away the gold coins, I immediately picked up the Purers and headed to the 5th floor the moment I stepped into the portal. And there was a trail of these messages. Level 5, I will cross over into a zoo on Empire character. And there is also a user who entered the tower at the same time as an opponent after the trial starts. The audience in the live stream will not be able to leave. There are 2 ways to clear customs. Either complete the predetermined ending or get rid of another user. And if the other party completes the ending first, I will experience firsthand the whole process of the destruction of this world. Then a pop-up window of the selection ability appeared in front of me. On the 5th level, 1 will be reincarnated into the corresponding character. It all depends on the ability I choose. Magic ability corresponds to the Chief Magician of the Empire. Magic Scholar to Imperial Platinum Mechanic. The physical strength corresponds to one of the chiefs of the Knights. In addition, there are non-combat professions such as merchants. I chose a Demon Dao Scholar without the slightest hesitation, but something went wrong. He automatically helped me choose the ability to tame monsters. I haven't had time to explain. He was forcibly sent to the zoo on Empire for reincarnation. After reincarnation, I looked depressed. How could the demon Dao scholar I clearly chose become a tamed monster? But I'm ready to complete the task. I learned my reincarnation through my diary. I am the second prince of the empire, disqualified from the throne for molesting the queen. But my mission to complete the intended outcome was to become emperor. It seems that if I want to pass the customs, it is necessary to prioritize getting rid of competitors. I quickly called my subordinates. You go get Hades, because I want to learn about the current situation from him. Soon Hades was in front of me. Don't wait for me to ask him. He had someone enter the room with a mysterious object. After lifting the curtain, the ones locked in the cage are my few souls. I almost forgot about them when they were reincarnated. Hastily asked him why these souls are languishing. He told me it was because he ate too many philosopher's stones. Indigestion just starved them for a while. But before he could finish speaking, he rushed towards me because he can feel the magic stone in my body. I quickly pushed him away and told him not to worry. He told me that devouring the magic stone would cause the body to self-destruct, and it will gradually affect your own emotions. He told me to stop taking the magic stone no matter what. Got it. I will keep your words firmly in my heart. And he was ready to go. And all of a sudden, he turns around and he tells me, the first prince's recent actions are very suspicious. Ask me to be more careful. After he left, I picked up Sol Luo and entered the secret room together. It seems that I not only have to deal with the eldest prince, find another user as soon as possible. After settling the parrots, I left the chamber alone because I'm going to find another user. In order to survive, I need to find him as soon as possible. A man draws his sword 900 million times a day. As long as you persevere for 7 days, you can become the #1 powerhouse of the empire. But dare to draw the sword one less time, he will be sentenced to death by the royal family. It turns out that Sunya is a player who reincarnated into the empire through trials. The mission of his trial was to comprehend the profound meaning of swordsmanship within 7 days, or kill another competitor who was participating in the test with him. He felt the difficulty of finding another player, much more difficult than practicing swordsmanship, so he went bankrupt and bought a skills book. After learning according to the skill book, every time he draws his sword, the level of swordsmanship will be greatly improved. Therefore, he is confident that he can complete the trial first. But what he never expected was, as soon as I showed up, I disrupted all his plans after he saw me come to the practice ground. Kneel down and bow to me immediately. After all, my reincarnation status is the second prince of the empire. But his nervous look made me a little suspicious. So I decided to test him, see if he's a competitor for the trial with me. Sunya got up and asked me why I came to the training ground. Nothing really happened. I just thought about storing a bottle of wine in your house last year. But when I just went to your house, I suddenly forgot the name of this bottle of wine. So I came here to ask you. My words startled Sunya. Finally, he was prompted by the bullet comment in the live stream, mistakenly said the name of a wine. It should be that one. I'll send someone to your house to pick it up tomorrow. Good to see that I did not continue to be embarrassed, and I breathed a sigh of relief. But what I said next took him by surprise. Can you tell me your real name? Good to see after his identity was exposed. And he looked at me with this furious look on his face. Ask how I found out about his identity. How else could I know? Of course, it's because of this second prince with a small belly. He wrote down his experience in detail, and I knew it from the moment we met. Your tone is both frivolous and vulgar. It's like trying to remind me that you were reincarnated. I really don't want to know. Shunya came up to me in anger after hearing it. I heard that the second prince is a useless waste. It looks like my tier 5 mission is coming to an end. But just as he was about to draw his sword and kill me, and Hades sees this, he ran straight up to me and asked if I was hurt. Don't worry. I just want to watch a swordsmanship show. So let him show me a little bit. Hades patted Shinjai on the shoulder. Then his face turned gloomy in an instant. If you dare to show murderous intent to the prince again, I will cut off your limbs. Then pull out your radish and drag it to the street for public display. Shanye confessed in an instant after listening to it, bowed to me and apologized, and he ran away. Then I followed Hades back to the house. I didn't expect to find a competitor smoothly on the first day. That way things will be easy. I am ready to complete the set conclusion in the next 6 days, become an emperor, because I believe the reward for this given outcome is definitely better than killing the opponent. In the database at the same time, Zanya is investigating my information. He's in a hurry now, because as my prince, just one order can kill him, just when he was desperate. He found clues to my true identity in my messages. It's my 3 souls. At this time, the audience in his live stream also recognized me. Then they told Sunya a hidden way to clear the level. There is a prayer room outside the city gate. Just shout out the competitor's name to the sculpture there. Immediately past the trial, However, if you fail, you will be severely punished. Therefore, this method is not recommended. But after Shanye learned of this method, a sinister smile appeared on the corner of his mouth. Then he came to my house in a hurry, want to confirm my identity. When I saw Zanya, I also went up to welcome him. Hello again, I heard you've been spying on me. So what? Stop acting, Jin Yokai. When I heard the name, and I was thrilled. Sunya saw my reaction and turned around and ran away. Because according to my reaction, I concluded that I am Jin Yokai. But when I saw Shinja running out, I didn't panic at all, even with a kind smile. What a simple guy. In less than 3 minutes, Shenya arrived at the prayer room outside the city. He took out the key from the pool that could open the hidden customs clearance method, and he prayed to the statue. Suddenly, a pop-up window appeared in front of him. Look at the content of the pop-up window in front of you. He shouted out the words Jin Yokai without hesitation. After he clicks the confirm button, the statue began to shake violently. Then a red light appeared in the statue's eye, shot towards Shanye. Then Shanye felt the power in his body is rapidly draining. It was because he answered incorrectly, so triggering the curse formatted all his skills in the end. Only a shrill scream was left to echo in the prayer room. Why is his answer wrong? It's all because I'm after Shanya left. The first time I dug out the name change card, I changed the name of Jin Yokai 2 for myself. After it was over, I quietly waited for Shanye to come to me, because all his abilities are initialized. You will definitely be furious and come to fight with me, unless there is a big injustice to continue to reward him. Otherwise, it is absolutely impossible for him to complete the task of the predetermined ending. Just then, outside my house, there was some scolding. I followed the source of the sound. Sure enough, the person who came is the good that has been abolished. He looked like he could eat me alive. Instead, I told the guards to let him go and took him into his room. But as soon as he entered the room, he was dishonest. Pick up the chair and smash it at me. Fortunately, I quickly dodged. Then Shanye drew his sword, a lunge hit me. But all skills are initialized. How can he be my opponent? I subdued him in an instant. I let you go at the time just as the situation required. And now you're worthless. I can kill you anytime. And I threw him to the ground. If you don't want to die, get out. After listening to my words, Sunya ran away. Now he shouldn't bother me anymore. Anyway, I can kill him anytime. But the most important question is, how do I get to the throne? Thinking about it, I fell into a deep sleep. I dreamed about what I was going through in the 5th floor in the video, and my mission was to bring my tomahawk to the peak. But I vividly remember the day before my mission was completed. The second prince was hanged. The filial son killed his 50-year-old father, but to take the blame for my 40-year-old brother. However, what he did not know was that this is all my brother's conspiracy. It just so happened that the guards broke in and caught him as the murderer, and they took him to the crown court to stand trial. And soon the news spread throughout the country, because the deceased was the current emperor. Before the trial had even begun, the courtroom was packed with spectators. I also followed the crowd. Then a blonde earl came up to me and said hello. He also told me that it doesn't matter if the second prince dies or not. In his eyes, the second prince is just a weak and incompetent waste. Since he said so, how did the second prince kill the emperor? Just as I was thinking, Hades, the second prince's bodyguard, suddenly collided with me. I saw his face like a dying man, because he is the only person in the empire who is worried about the safety of the second prince. Soon the trial officially began. All the nobles of the empire also attended the trial. The second prince was also brought to trial under the watchful eyes of the crowd. But don't wait for him to give any explanation. The presiding judge hastily decided, because all the evidence points to the second prince. Even the cuffs of the clothes he is wearing now still contain highly toxic powder. So the presiding judge announced the verdict on the spot. They decided to cut off the second prince's head in front of the whole country. For a while, all the nobles present agreed. Hades immediately stood up and objected. He thought the trial was too hasty. It makes people wonder if someone is instigating it behind the scenes. But the presiding judge was unmoved by his questioning. Immediately after, the second prince was pulled down and executed. Hades bowed his head in despair. This almost pissed me off. I would never have agreed to such a ridiculous trial. Angry, I vowed to overthrow this stupid empire with my own hands. Endless anger also woke me up from my sleep. I think back to everything that happened in my dream. A strange smile appeared on the corner of his mouth, because I found a way to change the ending. I quickly picked up the second prince's diary and flipped through it. But the more I look at it, the angrier I get, because the content in the diary is too one-sided. It seems that I have to ask Hades. Hades rushed in before he could finish speaking. Suddenly, he scared me half to death. Seeing this, I also asked Hades with some embarrassment. Do you remember when I was a child, I asked my father for Warcraft as a birthday present, but he gave me a big slap in the face. At that time, I didn't know why my father was angry. I'm sure you know why. Hades' face instantly became serious after hearing this. Finally, under my soft and hard soaking, he told me the secret of that year. The emperor was deeply stimulated by the death of the empress. Gradually become manic and stop trusting anyone. You happen to be the only child of the queen, so his majesty loved you very much at that time. And when you were young, you pestered his majesty for dangerous monsters. Finally, he hit you. When I learned the truth, I walked towards the palace. Looking at the tightly guarded bedroom of the father emperor, I went there with determination. Unexpectedly, he was blocked by 2 guards. Their behavior makes me very angry. And then I screamed from the door. Sure enough, under my cry, a magical beast soldier walked out of his father's palace, and they led me into the room. At this time, my father also got dressed and came out to see me. How strange, you came to me. When I heard this, I respectfully saluted my father. How can it be strange for a child to come to his father? When the father heard the words, a wicked smile appeared on the corner of his mouth. Haven't seen me in so many years, I thought you were dead. How come? I know you have some Warcraft soldiers by my side. Didn't you do that because you were worried about me? The father sighed after listening. So you came to me just to say that, and I glanced behind me. Could you please let these Warcraft soldiers retreat outside the dormitory? There are some things I'm embarrassed to say in front of outsiders. As soon as these words came out, the atmosphere instantly fell into embarrassment, but in the end, the father still let those magical beast soldiers retreat. It seems that you should know something. I know your ring is a token of control over Warcraft, but now the ring you're wearing is fake. Father Emperor stood up uneasily after listening. Do you have any evidence to prove that he is fake? From now on, your words will determine whether you live or die. In fact, the first prince also has the same ring. The first prince was at a celebration banquet. I deliberately spilled wine on you. Then I took the opportunity to replace the ring when wiping your clothes. When the father emperor heard this, he was furious. Accusation is my side of the story, and there is no evidence. I noticed at a glance that my father was testing me at this time. After all, he has no reason to be angry. I don't think it's necessary to find evidence. I'm sure you already knew this. Hearing this, Father Emperor suddenly laughed out loud. He also said that he had already known about it. Then he asked me the real purpose of coming here this time. My goal is to become emperor. Father Emperor's face instantly turned gloomy after hearing this. Did you know that an empire can only have one emperor at a time? A sneer goes up on my face when I hear this. Of course I know, so please die. The father was not angry after hearing this. Instead, let me go. My operation attracted the attention of a viewer in the live stream. Then he lavishly rewarded me with 1,000 gold coins, and then other viewers followed suit. I thanked them and went to my bedroom the next day. I carried my luggage and planned to study magic engineering. I don't want the eldest prince to suddenly appear in front of me. I frowned when I saw him. He must be wondering what I said after meeting my father. That's why you can't help but come here and question me. Therefore, I deliberately revealed some things after I met my father. After hearing this, the first prince's body instantly shuddered. But the way I said it in the middle of my speech angered him, so he raised his hand and slapped me. Just then, the royal mechanic stopped the first prince with 4 eyes. He also accused the first prince of running amok on his territory. The first prince was furious when he heard this. I am the future emperor of the empire. Do you dare to control me, but the 4 eyes are fearless? You are not yet emperor. I'm afraid of what you do. Hearing this, the eldest prince's face turned black. I will kill you when I become emperor. 4 eyes shrug after listening. Then it's up to you. But before I die, I will leave the last words of the emperor who was a coward. The first prince faced such ridicule. I was so angry that I almost broke my teeth. Then he turned around and left in humiliation. I immediately expressed my gratitude to the 4 eyes and asked him to impart his knowledge about magic scholars, and then he turned his back on me. Since you didn't drive me away directly, so he doesn't hate me. Then I studied the machines in front of me about magic engineering. Suddenly, a pop-up window with the skills of a Demon Dao scholar emerged in front of my eyes. After a brief hesitation, I bought 5 skill books in one go. All of a sudden, I just felt dizzy. Sure enough, carrying too many books at one time hurts your health. Then I took a look at the 4-eye studio. Then he went up and knocked on the door. It didn't take long for the 4 eyes to open the door. He popped his head out and asked me what I wanted. After explaining my needs to him, and he took me into his studio. However, what I don't know is, at this time, the eldest prince was striding towards the emperor's bedroom. At the same time, a sinister smile appeared on the corner of his mouth. Seems to be planning something. 4 eyes, who just entered the studio here, took out a test paper and gave it to me. He told me I had to answer this question to stay here. I agreed without saying a word, and I sat down and I started answering questions. Soon I finished answering. 4 eyes looked at my answer and sighed. It's a pity you're only half, right? However, I am satisfied satisfied with your answer." Then he turned and left the studio. He also said that he would block the eldest prince for me. That means I can use his studio as much as I want during this time. For the next 5 days, I have been studying magic engineering. Suddenly, Hades rushed anxiously into the studio. He informed me of the Emperor's death. I jerked to my feet at the news. Just when I asked Hades if the culprit had been investigated, the knights came to me with a wanted notice and arrested me as a murderer. They're treating me like a prisoner before the trial even begins. It seems that this person was specially arranged by the eldest prince. It didn't take long for me to be taken to court because all the evidence is against me. So the presiding judge sentenced me to death on the spot, and I didn't panic at all. Then I frankly stated that I did not murder the emperor. The presiding judge looked at my resolute expression and suddenly panicked, and told me that if I couldn't produce evidence, I had to be judged on the spot. Although I have no evidence, but I have witnesses. If you have the slightest disagreement with the testimony of a witness, then I am willing to be punished. The presiding judge said arrogantly that he wanted to see the appearance of the witnesses, but he just finished speaking. The crowd immediately exclaimed. Then the emperor walked into the courtroom with 6 unrecognized steps. It turned out that all this was a farce staged by the emperor to catch the imperial moths. Just 5 days ago, I suggested suspended animation to my father in his bedroom. After hearing this, Father Emperor was not only not angry, but very excited. Let me continue. I also told my father about the first prince's recent attempts to usurp the throne. Looking at his father's appearance, he obviously knew it well. Then I said that after the death of my father, with the character of the eldest prince, he will definitely do everything possible to get rid of me. After all, I'm a thorn in his side, and the way he got rid of me must have been very naive. And to keep me from turning over in public, he will surely blame me for your death. Father Emperor frowned slightly after listening to my analysis. He asked me if there was a way to get out of that predicament and can reveal the true face of the eldest prince. Immediately, a sinister smile appeared on the corner of my mouth, then confidently expressed that I am 100% sure that the eldest prince will step down. In the end, my father also agreed with my idea. The presiding judge here was scared to death when he saw the emperor. He couldn't understand why the dead emperor was here. The father emperor also noticed him at the first time. His face dimmed instantly. Then he asked him when it was the emperor's turn to look up to the judge. The presiding judge shuddered when he heard this. Then he ran off the stage in a panic, kneeling down in front of the emperor. Father Emperor gave me a wicked smile after seeing the scene. Then he told them about the days of suspended animation, found that the taxes of the empire had suddenly increased by a factor of 100. As soon as these words came out, the presiding judge's face instantly broke into sweat. Immediately after, the father also sat down and began to hold them accountable. Huang Mao can't hide it anymore after glancing at the presiding judge. In order to protect himself, he called all the bribes of the presiding judge, and he also confessed that this trial was also planned by him and the first prince. The father, who knew everything, immediately abolished the position of presiding judge. Then a big slap in the face, because he broke his vow of impartiality. Not waiting for the presiding judge to explain too much, he was dragged down by the knight commander to undergo the punishment of cutting off his head, and I was able to clear my name. Immediately after, the father ordered the first prince to be wanted within the city. Soon the first prince will fall into the trap. The father immediately arranged for someone to arrest him for trial. The attitude of the first prince who was arrested was very arrogant. He also wants the villain to report first. Said it was all a conspiracy I planned in advance. His father, who saw the double killed, ignored him. Just announced the start of the trial, and then I interrupted my father's words and begged him to let me, the victim, personally expose the murderer. A strange smile appeared on the corners of father's mouth after hearing this. They immediately agreed to my request. I also started the trial of the first prince directly, in front of all the nobles. Tell the first prince about hurting the emperor. After I finished speaking, the eldest prince's face dimmed instantly. Then say I'm talking nonsense. In that case, I asked him to produce evidence that would prove his innocence. After the first prince heard my words, he laughed up to the sky like crazy. Apparently he has evidence to prove his innocence. Then he walked up to me calmly, asked me why I'm suddenly fighting for the throne with him now. Then he promised that as long as he didn't make things difficult for him today, he will surrender the throne. But I slapped his hand off my shoulder. I'm not the second prince who was both simple and weak back then, when I was 6 years old. He tricked me into asking my father for Warcraft as a birthday present. As a result, not only did the gift not go through, he was slapped by his father, Hades, to comfort me. He built me a secret base that could store magical beasts. But I didn't want this news to reach my father's ears. Father also ordered ordered me to burn all these magical beasts with my own hands. I don't understand why my father would know this news. Obviously, only Hades and the first prince knew about this. In the end, I burned all the monsters with my own hands. Then I went to a commoner's tavern and had a bad drink. I also made up my mind at this moment. From now on, I will not tell the eldest prince anything. As a result, I got drunk and had an argument with the big guy at the opposite table. The next morning, Hades found me battered and bruised. I haven't trusted anyone since then. I think Warcraft is more sincere than humans, so this time, I didn't believe the first prince's nonsense. Then the first prince told me that the Warcraft soldier could prove his innocence. I also arranged for someone to bring the witness up. I watched the first prince pull out a handkerchief from his pocket with a wicked smile on his face. And the handkerchief is wrapped with a ring that can control the Warcraft. So he was confident that he could manipulate the Warcraft soldiers to testify in his favor, but also take this opportunity to bring me down. However, what he didn't expect was the Warcraft soldiers directly identified the first prince as the culprit. Father Emperor also laughed after hearing this. Then he asked the first prince what else he had to quibble about. The first prince froze when he saw the ring on his father's hand. Only then did he realize that the ring in his hand was fake. In desperation, the ring in his hand also rolled to the ground. I also picked up the ring. Then he turned around and asked his father if he knew what it was. After seeing it, the father also said, "This is exactly the same as his ring that controls the Warcraft. However, the one in the hands of the first prince is just an imitation." The first prince trembled after hearing this. Then he pointed at me angrily, means I'm not qualified to judge him, and he didn't want to be judged by nobles who were paid to do nothing. It seems that he was stimulated and went crazy. He actually told me about his own bribery. Then I asked the nobles present, "Is there anyone willing to stand up and speak for the first prince?" The hall quieted down in an instant. No one wants to be in this muddy water. Therefore, I directly declared the first prince guilty of assassinating the emperor. Send someone to arrest him immediately. Then I asked my father to give me some time to communicate with the prisoner alone, because I was wronged because of him. So now I want revenge. After hearing this, the father also happily agreed to my request. Immediately, I was gearing up and walking towards the eldest prince. Then a big slap in the face. This is to punish him for those little moves against me. Then I punched him in the face again. The second was a punishment for his ambition. After dealing with my personal affairs, I convicted the eldest prince to bring his crimes to light. I request that he be roped to the horse, drag across the empire. My father has no objection to my judgment. The nobles on the spot also echoed. Therefore, the father also handed down the final judgment. He decided that after fulfilling the penalties I mentioned, then dissected by 5 horses. As soon as these words came out, the eldest prince was directly scared silly. Before he could refute, he was forcibly dragged down by the knight commander and executed. After the trial, my father got up and wanted to leave. And that's when I stopped him. When my father saw my expression, he asked me why. I also dared to make a request to my father in front of the entire audience of nobles. I wish he would allow me to be the son of Zu-on Empire. The Zu-on Empire was named after the world itself. The sun represents the emperor of a country, and my request is for my father to give up the throne. Father Emperor laughed out loud after hearing this. He slowly walked up to me, although he found my statement both unconvincing and unreasonable. But it suits his heart. Then he appeared in front of all the nobles. An unexpected order was given, that is to make me emperor of the Zu-on Empire.